here.
My name is Richard Rodriguez. I'm a writer. I was for many years on public television, both here in the United States and in London. And I have written various books. One book particularly called Hunger of Memory is used by many, many schools across the country and in Canada. It's about education and how hard it is to become educated in a way that separates you from your family. At the same time that it draws you closer to your family, and the balance you have to strike between studying your family and being a member of your family. My parents are from Mexico, and I've noticed for many years that I was often in rooms where I was the only Mexican, and that when I went to schools like Stanford, there weren't, I think the year I was at Stanford, there was, the only Mexicans there were all from Mexico. They were foreign students. They were white Mexicans. And I've always wondered why people who look like me, brown men, short, were not succeeding in the classroom. What was it, their problem, or was it the school's problem? I think you had to be very strong if you're going to become educated, because in many ways, education comes to you and separates you from people you love. My mother and father were very proud of me, but they also realized that there was less and less for us to talk about together. And there was a distance that education brings. And I don't think we speak enough about some of those issues. At a conference like this, everybody is very optimistic about words like diversity. Well, diversity hurts. I remember at Safeway here in Sacramento, when I already knew more English than my grandmother, and how she would use me. When I was 6 years old, she would use me as her voice. Now, I was happy to do that, but at the same time, it was difficult for the child to say that I was not a child. I was my grandmother's adult. I was leading her through Safeway. Yeah.
Navigate the mainstream.
Yeah.
So mainstream media certainly, I don't think, helps very much regarding, for people in...
by and large, no. I worked for the Los Angeles Times for a number of years. I worked on PBS. They don't really seek out the dynamics of education, but you have to do that too. I remember going to the Clooney Library. I was looking for black books by African-American writers. This was in the 1950s. And I found James Baldwin on a bookshelf. Nobody said, read that book. But I pulled it out from the shelf. Nobody Knows My Name was the name of the book. Well, I liked that title because nobody knew my name either. And education comes because you want it. You reach for the book on the shelf, not because somebody tells you you have to read that book by James Baldwin. For many years I have been a judge in the essay contest by ethnic media, and I've noticed that the writing is getting very, very strong. And what I most admire is that we're beginning to write about each other. It's not simply growing up Mexican, but for example, my Mexican aunt, married my uncle from India. And so I grew up with India as much as Mexico. And his receptionist across the street, his receptionist was Filipina. And so already there was this complexity. It wasn't mere diversity. It was the richness of the world. And they were working out their relationships every day. And I went to Catholic schools where almost all of my teachers were Irish women. And so there was India, there was a Filipina, there was Mexico, and there was Ireland. And all of that, if ethnic media really is true to the lives we are leading, it will make us realize how rich it is, how complicated it is, and why this man, Ramaswamy, running for president, an Indian, is standing on a stage in Iowa pretending that he is a black rapper. How that works, we learn from each other, we imitate each other.